Hello and welcome to Two Fat Men Talk About Pedals.
He's a fat man.
And he's a fat man.
And this is an pedal.
Today we're going to be looking at a range of DigiTech pedals here at Fair Deal Music. Starting with the Freqout, the Whammy V, the Whammy DT, the Ricochet, and finally the Hammer-On. We'll be kind of blending it between some demos, both pre-recorded and in situ, to kind of show some specific aspects about each pedal. But hopefully this will be a comprehensive look at what these pedals can do, how you can kind of implement them into your rigs, and Dan is here as well.
Yes.
Before we dive in, we would like to talk about the equipment that we're using.
Yes.
Let's start with the guitars. Dan, what have you got there?
Over here I have a Cream Tea Aurora. Now what makes the Cream Tea guitar special is you can take the pickups out.
Because you need that.
Of course. One of the things about these guitars is if you want to put your own pickups in, you can send the pickups to Cream Tea and they will mount them to one of these harnessy things here.
And I have a Cream Tea Crossfire HH here. Lovely guitar. I really like an offset body, and it's got a 6-way switch, so it really opens up your sonic abilities, and like all the other Cream Teas, removable pickups. As for the amp, Dan informed the lovely audience what we all have.
This one is a PV Valve King 50 watt. It has a digital preamp with 6L6 power tubes.
Two 6L6?
Yes, two 6L6 power tubes. It's got its own, what's the word?
You can't do that, I'm gonna have to censor this video again.
Blame MXR.
Let's go. So the first pedal that we're going to be looking at is the Freqout, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Dan is going to demonstrate the lovely pedal and its abilities whilst I manipulate the pedal and make it all about me. So Dan is playing a lovely Cream Tea
Aurora
Borealis.
Aurora Borealis.
This time of day in this part of the country.
Yes.
So what we're going to be doing is looking at the controls of this, kind of demonstrating each aspect of it in kind of like a laboratory type setting.
Yes.
And then we're going to jump to a demo of it being used by a proper person. Both of us.
Both of us.
So, but before we dive into any of that, let's just kind of give a demonstration of both the clean and dirty channel we're playing with. Dan, if you can play something.
I can sometimes.
And on our dirty channel. Cool, wonderful, beautiful. So things to note on the Freqout are the controls. So we have momentary, dry, range gain, and the type. So let's start with the momentary. That essentially just means that you can have the pedal on always or on only when you're pressing the control, the bypass button. The dry, which basically just takes the dry signal out so you can only hear the affected sound. The range, so the gain and the onset is, the gain is how aggressive that sound is brought in, and the onset is controlling how quickly or slowly the sound is then implemented, and then the type is kind of controlling the pitch of that feedback. So let's have momentary off, so I will hit the pedal and it stays on, and we'll keep the dry on so we can hear both the original and the affected signal. Range, both controls on the range, the gain and the onset, down, so we can hear the effect come in straight away and with kind of no aggressiveness behind it. And we will also have it on a third harmony, so we can kind of hear the higher end of it. The sub, which is the first setting, is a very low end. So what we'll do, I'll turn it on now, and Dan will just play. So if you're playing quite quickly like that, the pedal won't affect your signal. It waits for a note to be sustained and then it will start implementing. So if Dan just holds a note, we don't really hear that much, but again, we're kind of on a clean channel. So let's turn up the gain to 12 o'clock again. In quite quickly, so if we turn up the onset, it will slow the rate of how quickly that effect comes in, and there we go. Much more like how you get feedback in a live situation. It doesn't come in straight away unless you've got everything turned up.
It's quite useful as well if you don't have a cab to dive your guitar into to make it do a feedback, if that makes sense.
Do a feedback.
Do a feedback.
I guess because of the level of control that you've got, you can use it as a subtle tool if you want to get some of that kind of that gentle kind of feedback hiss, or if you just want to go crazy with it. So going crazy, let's turn the gain up, turn the onset down, and then so it comes in a bit quicker but much more aggressively.
Yeah.
So we've got the gain at 5 o'clock, so maxed. Go. Just hold a note. Let's also then take it down to the type to a first, so the second preset. So to go through the types, the first is actually the natural frequency, the harmonic or whatever of what that string's doing, and as you go up, it then starts to pitch it up, similar to how a whammy pedal will do. Or, fun fact, this is a great way of mimicking a Sustainiac pickup.
Yes.
So we'll go to a second, just hold that same note. Third. Fifth. Natural low. And natural high. I didn't really hear a difference between those last two. And that's just for funsies, let's go sub. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go gain that back down to 12 o'clock, keep the onset at 9 o'clock, and then I'm going to hit the drive channel.
Drive channel.
Drive channel. And then if you, with these settings, if you just play how you normally would, and we can demonstrate if this pedal then, affects your guitar playing straight away, or if it is where you just hold on to it.
You can hear it a bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So let's turn the onset on, up, so everything's at 12 o'clock. So that is a great way of mimicking the kind of natural feedback with both of them at 12 o'clock. There is time between your note being played and being struck and held a little bit before it will start feedbacking, and by that time that will happen, you're on to the next note.
Yeah, so same settings, if I was to hold a note. But it still doesn't affect my...
Yeah, so in a way, if you get the settings right, you can actually just leave it on for a gig.
Yeah.
Say if you are, you and I, we have virtual amps,
yes,
and you don't really get a natural feedback because there's no amp on stage to get that. So if you want that kind of feedbacky sound, you can have just that on all the time, and so you can have full control over it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, because I actually have Sustainiac pickups, so. But you do.
I would.
You would use that.
I would use it.
And just for funsies, we're going to take the dry off, so we can hear just the wet sound, the affected sound that this has, and it can get quite interesting and quite creative.
Yes.
Now I like weird sounds, and it sounds exactly like sock puppets that live on the moon.
Yes, it does in fact sound like the clangers.
For a more in-depth look, let's have a look at a proper demo of the Freqout. So now moving on from the Freqout to the Whammy 5 as we have here. It is the 5th iteration of the kind of whammy pedal, based heavily off the aesthetics of the first whammy, now on screen. As used, the whammy broadly used by such guitarists like, as we said in a recent video, Matt Bellamy, Jonny Greenwood, The Edge, Jack White, Tom Morello, Troy Van Leeuwen, and other guitarists.
Harry.
As me.
He uses them.
It was originally brought out and released as a pitch shifter and a harmonizer. That's kind of what Tom Morello really gravitated towards in particular when it first came out. In its fifth iteration, the features broadly really haven't changed, apart from the addition of some additional pitch shifting ranges, say like a fourth or a fifth up and down. And from the 4, they introduced a MIDI port in, which allows you to control the whammy as either just turning it simply on and off, or to allow you to do rhythmic pitch shifting. So it has a lot of features in there that you can use as a kind of like a dumb stomp box, or if you connect it to something like Logic, you can put MIDI through it and have it be controlled throughout like an entire song to do kind of dubstep type stuff, because it's 2011, 12 and dubstep is still relevant.
Yes.
Your views of the DigiTech Whammy pedal, if you have any?
Tis a bit cool, isn't it?
It is a bit cool.
No, I've used the Whammy before. Not the actual pedal, it was an emulation of the pedal on the Headrush. But have used one in recordings before, and it does add an extra dimension of interestingness to solos and other lead parts, like harmonies and things you might have in the song.
That's an interesting point, because a lot of people, whenever I've spoken or shown about whammies, people kind of have a thought about how they want to use it. So you kind of gravitate towards like the solos and like doing lead stuff. I really like using it, for that, but then as a way of expressing a rhythm section. For example, the harmony octave up set preset is a great option to basically play in your chord sequence and use it as like a pad. You can get like a synthy sound out of it, especially if you couple it on with delay and then swell in, like turn up the volume as the notes have come out. Really adds this kind of atmospheric layer. Especially if you're going to be doing something like synth pop or something, that really kind of lends to big like ethereal chords, or you just want a synthy pad sound but from a guitar. It's really, really versatile, and then you can go to the other side of the use of it and use it for like solos like Killing in the Name by Rage Against the Machine. So if, Dan, you would care to pick up a guitar,
of course,
you can demonstrate this again through a clean and a distortion tone. So let's, we are off standby. I'm going to move my tool. If you just give us a quick play of some clean guitar. That's great, don't show me up too much. So what I'm going to do, if you want to just lay down some chord sequence, I'm going to flick on the harmony octave up section to kind of get across this idea of you can really make it ethereal sounding. So we're on, and we're going to flip the switch at the top to chords, which allows for a cleaner representation of playing chords through it. Go. So what it's doing is just kind of adding that kind of extra layer of kind of ethereal kind of a sound. It's not maybe something you'd want directly in front of it. You might want to use it more subtly. It depends on your approach for music production, but you can use it as just a simple 12-string type sound type thing. And then you can take that same effect, pull the treble down, stick on some distortion, play some fat single string riff, and get this sort of thing out of it. Same position in the whammy, but totally different approach, totally different sound. Let's go for some 2 octaves up, and without using my foot, go. Classic Tom Morello type sounds used by, again, like Jonny Greenwood, Matt Bellamy, to get really kind of weird space age stuff. Add some delay on top of that, and the pullback from 2 octaves up to down really sound really space agey. You can use this as a cheap and easy way to detune a guitar. So let's go 2 steps down, well, 2, whatever that is, a second down. It basically turns your standard tuned guitar into D standard. octave down, so you're essentially playing a bass. And a dive bomb, which is 3 octaves down, and to the point where only hippos and elephants can really hear what you're playing. I personally, I think that's trying to emulate what a Floyd Rose does, to going that low, because it's not exactly musical.
Yeah, if you use a treadle with it, it does actually work quite well.
Great for that just alone. And then the detune section, which has been part of the Whammy since I think it did first come out, just takes the signal and detunes it ever so slightly, giving you a sort of kind of chorusy type sound.
Yeah.
Now, I've had a Whammy for ages. I've never really known exactly how I can use this, but it certainly exists. So you just play. It's kind of up to you if you find that to be useful or musical or anything at all, and then going through the various harmonizer settings takes your original signal and then pitch shifting it up or down depending upon the interval it says. If you're really good at music theory, you know how to use that, or if you're like me, a bit silly, you just either use a fifth, a flat third, or an octave. Here's how it sounds properly.
So the next pedal we've got is the Whammy DT. Now take everything Harry just said about the Whammy and add a drop tune pedal on it. However, it is slightly different to the drop tune pedal.
Pray tell.
Because not only can it shift down, but it can also shift up, which is really useful actually if on the Whammy side you're using, say, an octave down, and then you set this at an octave up. Then you start with the octave up, and then when you pitch the Whammy down, the original signal goes down, so then you just have up and down, not middle.
Yes.
Explanation.
Yes, it's not cancelling it out, basically.
Yeah. So then you've also got this is the switch for the drop tune, and then this one down here is the momentary switch for the drop tune. So if you were using the Whammy as you normally would and you temporarily wanted to add another harmony, you could hold your little foot on there while you're playing that part.
I have big feet.
He has big feet. You could hold your foot on the momentary switch, and then as soon as you're done, light goes off, it's off. Harry, would you like to demonstrate how this works?
I can demonstrate how this works.
Yes.
Let's unplug your not Les Paul.
Yes.
I will handle this.
You hold that.
We can do it. I believe in you. If you tell me what settings you've got. Okay, so we've got harmony octave down. Let's put some drive on it.
Drive on it. Right now he has the octave up and down on the harmony side.
I love that sound.
Yeah. Then let's go to the 5th and 7th harmony. This is basically just a sheet for a power chord.
Because that's what a 5th is.
Yes.
The more you know.
An octave and a 5th is a power chord, so if you're having the 5th harmony on, you're basically playing a single string power chord. So, let's go to the actual whammy side of it now. And let's go to a 5th on the whammy. 5th up.
5th up.
I changed the key. We tried.
That momentarily messed with my brain for a moment, I won't lie.
Yeah, let's go for a 5th down. That could definitely be used in a riff. The 5th down, just to change it. Let's go to Dive Bomb.
Yeah, I think, as we said before, that's just
It's
Floyd
just
Rose.
a Floyd, yeah. You get the same sort of effector.
So
Yes.
what about if we combine these two?
Yes,
So
let's.
give us, if I go to a clean channel, say give us an octave up here.
Yes.
Sorry, harmony octave, sorry. So we've got the original, the orig key, the orig sound. So the original and then the high, but then give us the same, but harmony down on this side. So we should have dry, harmony up, octave, and then a harmony down octave.
Kind of giving that 12 string line.
Yeah, but there's more definition.
Yeah.
Take off the detune side. And then bring it back in. Does that sound like it removes the up? Sounds like it removes it, but then you bring in the treadle again and you basically get even higher.
Yeah.
So let's get some drive on it, do some low riffs again. It's good, you can layer it up. It's a great, really functional. Kind of makes me think I should get one on my board, but my board is actually quite full.
That's actually just full, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
On screen now.
On screen now, as always, with Harry's pedal board.
Just trying to bit shameless self-promotion there. For a extended demo, here is an extended demo.
So the next pedal that we've got is the Whammy Ricochet. This is one of my favourite in the range. We're getting to my favourite soon. This pedal is pretty similar just to a standard whammy, but instead of done with an expression treadle, that's the proper word, isn't it? Instead of done with a treadle, it is done by these switches here under what is lovingly labelled ballistics. Because it's the Ricochet.
Yeah, yeah, clever.
So
it's essentially just like a more compact whammy. And if you wanted to either use it as just pitch shifting on or off, or have a pre-programmed speed of ascent and descent, or shift return.
Ballistics. Should we talk about how the pedal works?
Let's talk about how the pedal works. So what are the features on it? What do the switches do? What are they called?
Okie dokie. So starting over here, you've got the momentary switch, which, as you've seen on the Whammy DT, if you flick that to on, you may see by these lovely lines. If I now hold the pedal, that is ascending in pitch, and that is descending in pitch, but it's activated by me holding it.
Wayne is also here.
Wayne is also here.
Recording.
Yeah. You're not in shot, you are in shot now.
So you nearly killed the cup then. So, or you can turn the momentary switch off. So as I just press it, light goes up means pitch is going up, light goes down means pitch is going down. Next to that you have a range switch, so whether the harmony you've set goes up or whether it goes down. Next to that is the pitch, so you've got an octave, a seventh, a fifth, a fourth, a second, or an octave harmony, or 2 octaves. So the ballistics category is how fast the pitch goes up and how fast the pitch goes down. It's a 2-stage knob, so you've got the outer knob which controls how fast the note goes back to its original pitch, and you've got the top half of the knob which controls how fast the pitch goes.
Did you generally
up.
just giggle at the word knob?
Yes, how fast the pitch goes back up.
Back up?
No, up.
Up.
Yes. Up!
Up and speed of up and down.
Yes, speed of up and down. So, Harry, would you like to pick up your guitar?
So we're on a clean channel again, just to kind of get the full dynamics in there. So we've got this. Teleported to the future.
It's like a tremolo of a harmony. It sounds really cool, I think. Yeah, I think I'd struggle to do this with my foot at the same time as playing.
Well, that's why you have the treadle on.
Yeah.
My preference is towards a proper whammy because with the treadle, this is the stripped down version, the unplugged, the on a diet, the Whammy Zero, if you will. I allow it to kind of have a Coca-Cola flavour to it.
On a diet. So if we change the settings to the longest period of shift up and shift down, you kind of get this cinematic rise in pitch.
Alright, so for then let's turn the reverb up all the way as well. Are you ready?
Yes. Still going.
Oh, yes.
And that is an octave down. And you're back in tune.
Bring that back down again.
So yeah, you can also obviously adjust them separately. So I could have the pitch up go instantly, and then the pitch down, coming back to normal pitch really slow.
Instant up.
Yeah.
I love that, that's really fun.
It is really fun. I actually really like this pedal. I do enjoy it.
You're joking.
You're joking.
You've never mentioned it before.
No. Should we show some of the other pitching options?
Let's do that.
Yeah, so let's go for our favourite, a fifth.
A fifth.
A fifth. Oh, should we go for the harmony octave?
Let's try that.
Really fun, and it's one thing I don't like about some pedals is some pedals you plug them in, you turn them on, and you just go, this is just unusable. Like in the sense,
what are you saying about the Boss MT2? It's a great pedal.
But like you plug it in, and it makes a noise that's like it's not remotely musical. It's just a noise. Whereas this has musical application.
Absolutely,
I think.
Jolly well hope so.
Yeah.
The DigiTech Ricochet, and here it is in some additional application.
And the last pedal that we've got in this demo is the DigiTech Hammer On. This is, I believe, the new pedal, isn't it?
The new pedal.
Yeah, this is the newest one in the DigiTech range.
It's new at time of recording. If you're watching this in the future, it is old. Because that's how time works.
Yes. This is probably my favourite pedal, to be honest.
And for good reason. It's a crazy box.
Yeah, and it's, again, to my previous point on the Ricochet, it's, even though it's mental, it's still really usable. Like, again, it's not just garbled noise because it's funny. What I am going to do with this pedal, because it's a little bit complicated, not too complicated, but a little bit complicated, I'm going to hand it over to my trusted colleague, Harry.
Is that because I have a master's?
Yes. Dr. Harry. No.
The Hammer On has a number of features. Let's go through them at the same time. You will see pitch 1 and pitch 2. They are the kind of the preset controls. You can have two different sequences programmed into the pedal at any given moment. So pressing pitch 1 will give you one setup, and then pitch 2 will give you another one. If you press them both at the same time, Daniel, if you will. 3, 2, 1, go. You then bypasses the pedal. So if you are using it in one of the later settings, it's going crazy, you want to turn it off. With your foot is wide enough to reach both, just press it down and it will disengage that setting, and then pressing it again, then kind of deactivates the bypass and brings it back in again. So you have those. Then you have this control here, which is the speed and preset control. Okay, so you can control the speed at which the effect is going, as you can see here. But then also, if we take it off trill, you can then control what interval, pitch, whatever you want to call it, is going to. So we can do a second up, put trill back on, and there it is, and speed it up. So a first and a second is just your 5th and your 7th fret doing your classic rock thing or whatever that is the dads do.
Yes.
You have the mode button, which cycles through all of the presets. The trill button, which basically either in this instance cycles between the preset sound, or in the instance of just pressing it here, goes to just that pitch up, and where you can then control which preset you want, or if you want to use it as a pitch shifter in the same way we've looked at the extension of the Whammy DT or the Ricochet. And it goes up and down, obviously. And then the dry button obviously then brings in the dry signal of your guitar. So with that on here, then you can turn it into a harmonizer box, or just have it out and it is just a direct pitch up or pitch down. So let's look at the hammer-on setting. So if I take out dry, stick trill on, and I take it off, I'm going to select it to, yeah, just a second up, so it will go between, yeah. So if then, Dan, if you allow me to stick on some drive, because it sounds best with drive. Hold, say, G string 7th fret, so a D. Well, there's the funny noise, where it doesn't make, it's not really that musical, but then you can bring it down to B. And then, so if you take that off, do that same thing again, so let's bring it down a 5th. Really easily done, and then on pitch 1 is a different setting, which is an octave down. 2 presets, 2 pitches that you can bounce between. Let's just stick dry on, slow it down, play again. So you can hear that the dry signal and as well as the affected one. Pretty simple, really straightforward, just bouncing between one preset. So let's go down to the impossible setting. So let's take dry off, because it sounds best like that. Hold just one note. So if you want to do We Don't Get Fooled Again by The Who, I mean, that's a pretty cheaty way of doing that if you want.
Yeah, I mean, that first impossible setting.
Yeah, if you speed that up, that goes crazy.
That sounds so cool.
It's like if we can't afford a synth, just get this pedal. Let's move on to sequence, where I think this is the best part of it. One, because you can use the pitch 2 button pitch 1 or 2, and it will keep that sequence looping around, and so it's great for just putting like lead sounds through there. It doesn't work with chords at all. Yeah. Unless you're really clever. But let's just give it a go.
Good job we're not really clever, isn't it?
Not really clever. And then so going hitting mode again brings you to 3 in sequence. So you've gone from having 2 sounds that you can control, cycle through in there, to now having 3. Down, play it again. And then on the third version of sequence is taking you through 5 possible preset pitch shifting. So let's put trill back on, let the pedal go. Crazy in a box. Out of all of the pedals that we've looked at, this is the one that really requires you to sit down and really figure out how it's going to work. For me, I'd want more time to sit down with it, play it, see what I can get out of it. But straight out of the box, you've got something that works really well for something that's like quite synth driven and quite atmospheric and creative and experimental. And I love that, especially with the guitar approach, because I've had a Whammy for ages. I like to experiment with layering ethereal tones. That works perfectly for that.
Yeah, I think that's really cool in the way that works. It is exactly like a sequencer on a synth.
Yeah, totally. That's what really draws me to that.
Yeah, I really like that.
I really enjoy taking simple effects and getting the most out of it to create something that really is bizarre. In your classic rock band, that ain't gonna fit in.
No.
But if you were doing, I don't know, good music, it worked great.
Disagree.
For a more of a crazy dive into what this pedal can do, on screen now. So there we go, that was a quick dive into various DigiTech pedals, the Freqout, the Whammy 4, the DT, the Ricochet and the Hammer-On. Dan, how did you feel about playing with various pitch shifting devices?
Not something I'd normally gravitate towards, the DigiTech stuff. Like I said, I have used a Whammy before, but generally I don't look at DigiTech pedals as something I'd consider buying, but after dibbing this, especially the Hammer-On, because it's just really cool, and it, even in things like a Helix or a head rush or something, I can't think of an effect that's that similar. Maybe a sequencer, but you still don't have the versatility that that does.
Yeah, it's truly something that hasn't really been thought of before. Like rhythmic pitch shifting, I've kind of come across in my travels, mainly as a Muse fan. Like some guitarists who are Muse fans will know that there are 2 songs that do rhythmic pitch shifting, and so I've known of that. I've never seen another pedal that does that in that kind of way. So I'm kind of glad there's something like that. It cannot, if you're a Muse fan and thinking of that song, it does not do that song. It does something like it, but it doesn't do it. But it's good that there is a pedal like that that can do some rhythmic pitch shifting. The sequencer kind of aspect which you latched onto is great. That's the real thing that I really like with it. It's got that kind of, well, with that specific setting, it's really easy to get to and change, but it opens up a lot of kind of direction where you can go with it. Obviously, again with lead tones, but it's actually a truly new type of pedal. Whereas you see a lot of like pedals that are brought out, it's just, you know, here is an overdrive, here is a fuzz, here is a delay. Whereas this is a pitch shifty, yes, because of the automated kind of nature of it. It's something I've never really come across before.
Kind of a new idea for a pedal.
Which is quite rare.
It's not common anymore. All the pedals, conventional pedals, were done at least 15 years ago. You know.
Absolutely. So I'm quite pleased that there is a brand new pedal from a brand such as DigiTech, where they've been, you know, not afraid to try something new and put it out there. They're known for the Whammy, I would say, quite strongly, and one of the best pedals out there. It's certainly one of my all-time favourite pedals because it really broadens horizons. It's not one of those where you just put it in, turn it on, never think about it. It's very much a pedal that requires you to think, and it really is a good self-reflection tool of, you know, how good do I know music theory. Through the rest of them, I love all these pedals. The Freqout is a really good one from my perspective of just getting an easy way of getting some feedback, whether you, as we've said, we don't have real physical amps. We have ones that live in a laptop or a head rush type, and it's difficult to get feedback that way. That introduces that, but in a much more controlled environment. As always with our videos, all the products are listed down in the description box below, so if you'd like to check those out. Tell us what you thought of the video down in the comments below as well, which is your favorite, how you'd use it, or what demos we should have included when demonstrating each individual pedal.
And if you like the video, like the video.
And if you like it even more, I don't know, subscribe to the channel. Anyway, I've been Harry.
I've been Dan.
And thanks for watching.